why would you want to honor the guy that led the army that fought for slavery? I mean, that's what I think. I mean, I'm not going to accuse anybody of anything, but I mean, you don't get to have it both ways.
Our history is where we've come from, and it directs where we will ultimately wind up. So you need to know your historical facts before you jump off on political correctness.
I feel that majority of the people, and a big majority, want the name left alone. And if it happens to come to a vote of the citizens, I would imagine that it would be a waste of money to have a vote because it's going to stay the same.
Just 31 miles north of San Angelo is the small and quiet West Texas town of Robert Lee. And like many small towns in Texas and throughout America, it's a community that cares for one another.
Oh, the people of Robert Lee are fantastic people. They will do most anything for you.
So if there's anyone that knows about the town, it's one Robert Lee native whose family roots run deep in the area.
My name is Fran Lomas. I am a genealogist, personal and professional, and I'm also the unofficial historian of Western Cook County, which includes Robert Lee.
With Fran's family calling Robert Lee home in the early 1900s, many did the same 2 decades prior when the town was founded.
Robert Lee was established by a removal election in 1891, moving the county seat there.
According to the Texas Forge Trail region, in a heated contest, the town won the county seat election over nearby Hayrick in 1891. The 2 men that founded the town were 2 Confederate veterans, L.B. Harris and his son-in-law R.E. Cartledge. The land developers named the community after Robert E. Lee in honor of the Confederate general. But Lee isn't the only Confederate representative in the town. The county itself, Coke County, is named after Richard Coke. Before becoming the 15th governor of Texas from 1874 to 1876, and later representing Texas in the United States Senate for almost 2 decades, he joined the Confederate Army as a private. In 1862, he would join the 15th Texas Infantry, where he would serve as a captain for the duration of the war.
I was extremely uncomfortable at the thought of my oldest child attending this school named after a man who fought to defend the very principles and rights that we detest and oppose.
Fast forward to present day, if there's a monument, building, or school memorializing a member of the Confederacy, it'll likely encounter resistance sooner than later. San Angelo ISD is being asked by citizens like Jesse Ramon to rename Robert E. Lee Middle School. And while school districts like Midland ISD and Tyler ISD have agreed to rename schools in their respective districts that were named after members of the Confederacy, Robert Lee native Nicholas Service recently suggested on social media that the city of Robert Lee evaluate its name as well, but due to COVID-19, has not had the opportunity to go before the city council.
This is an issue that should be dealt with internally, by people that are actually from here, not, whenever we eventually gain the notice of an outside group, and they request that we change our name. That's really my entire motivation. It's Robert Lee's not even from Texas. Why would we endure anything because of him? I mean, why would we want to honor him? He literally did nothing for us.
The post suggesting to rename the town has since been deleted. According to Nicholas, he was tired of dealing with the backlash, but despite the pushback, there has been some level of support.
One kid, he thought it was all right, and I think he's kind of cooled off on the issue himself, but not really. Not really.
Robert E. Lee will forever be known as the man who sided with his home state of Virginia in the fight for states' rights that included laws to support slavery, which led to America's bloodiest conflict, the Civil War. claiming the lives of over 600,000 Americans. But prior to the Civil War, Lee was instrumental in efforts as a captain under General Winfield Scott that led to U.S. victories in the Mexican-American War, which essentially solidified what is known as today's southern border, as well as allowing the United States to claim portions of present-day Arizona, California, Colorado, Utah, Nevada, New Mexico, and Wyoming. But it's Lee's presence in West Texas following the Mexican-American War that ties him to this area, as the president of the Fort Chadbourne Foundation in Bront, Garland Richards, explains.
Robert E. Lee served at Fort Mason. He was up and down the forts line all during the Mexican War time period until the Civil War time period. He is protecting the West Texas frontier. It was primarily Comanche country. He tried to set up and was assigned to set up a buffer zone in between the Comanche Nation and the white settlements that were happening
In Northern California, the city of Fort Bragg is facing scrutiny over its name as well, being that it's named after Braxton Bragg, who served as a Confederate general. On June 22nd of this year, the city council decided to not put the name change to vote on the November ballot, but instead to create a committee to generate comprehensive conversations about the issue. As far as the cost to change the name, according to the city, it would be a minimum of $271,000. Upon learning about the potential cost for Fort Bragg, we reached out to Robert Lee Mayor Allison Crenshaw, whose reply was, quote, "Could we? Yes. Would we? I very seriously doubt it. It would be a city council decision. However, I would be absolutely shocked if council chose to spend that kind of money changing the name of the city. I would be even more shocked if citizens were supportive of it." But until the city of Robert Lee entertains a name change,
we don't need to cast aside the good and the bad of the past and just try to rewrite history as being how we politically want to see this.
The only way forward is through changing the name, or, I mean, you can stick with it and get what comes with that. I mean, it's not going to be positive attention.
If a name change is considered, I will be very disappointed. I will be very angry, and I will be ready to do what I need to do to keep the name as it is.
Meanwhile, in Lexington, Virginia, the Virginia Military Institute, that's regarded as the West Point of the South, founded in 1839, has announced they will not remove Confederate statues or rename buildings. Instead, commit to addressing and fixing any areas of racial inequality at the school. In a 7-page letter addressed to the campus community, retired 4-star Army General and Campus Superintendent Benford P. quoted a statement from himself and VMI Board President William Bolin from 2017. Like the United States itself, who we were in the past only defines in part who we are today. Hate, bigotry, and discrimination are wrong, do not represent the values of the Virginia Military Institute, and will always be addressed decisively. We will learn from the past and take the best from our predecessors in shaping our cadet citizen soldiers for today and tomorrow. For Angelo Live, I'm Manny Diaz.